sitting in the morning sun. I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time.
So I tell you to keep you like way. We've got a special guest with us today, Banana Monkey, and he's going to help us understand the use of the passive voice in Latin verbs. Are you ready, Banana Monkey? I bet you are. Let's go. Normally, in the sentences we've seen so far, the subject performs the action of the verb. For instance, look at this clip. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. The monkey throws the ball. In Latin, simia pilum jacet. But let's suppose we wanted to make the receiver of the action the subject instead. Are we able to do that? And of course we can do that. In this sentence, the ball is thrown. The subject receives the action of a passive verb. When the subject receives the action, we call the verb passive, and we say it's a passive sentence. And you may not be surprised to know we can do the same thing in Latin. The Latin sentence is pilum jacitur. That's how we would say the ball is thrown. Now let's suppose that even though we have a passive verb, we still want to identify the doer of the action. Now since the receiver is the subject, we can't make the doer the subject, so instead we use the preposition by. We form a prepositional phrase with by. So the ball is thrown by the monkey. Now, as it turns out, we can do the same thing, almost exactly the same thing in Latin. We use the preposition a or ab. So we would say pilum a simia jacitur. And since a or ab takes an ablative object, we make that object, we make monkey ablative, and we call that the ablative of personal agent. Oftentimes it's just shortened to ablative of agent. So how do we form the passive verb forms in Latin? Now, in the present system, especially first and second conjugation, you already know most of the steps. You use the same verb stem that you use for the active. Second principal part minus the last three letters. The same theme vowels. And the only thing that's different is the endings. Instead of O, S, T, mus, tis, nt, we use R, ris, tor, more, mini, intor. And we'll find this is true in not just the present, but also the imperfect and in the future tenses. All right, so let's see how this works out in practice. Look at this. Look at the verb laudo. In the present tense, active voice, it's laudo, laudas, laudat, laudamus, laudatus, laudant. Well, when we add the passive endings, it looks very similar, just the very last part is different. Laudor, laudaris, laudator, laudamor, laudamini, laudantur. Notice that the one place where it's just not a straightforward exchange of endings, first person singular, we don't replace the O with the R. We keep the O and add the R afterwards. But other than that, ris, tor, more, mini, intor. Now the imperfect tense, we're used to, after a theme vowel, having B-A and then the endings. Laudabam, laudabas, laudabat, laudabamus, laudabatus, laudabant. Here we do have a straight exchange of endings. You just replace the M with an R and S with ris, T with tor, and so on. The future tense is almost as simple. The future of laudo in the active voice, lauda bo, lauda bis, lauda bit, lauda bimus, lauda bitus, lauda bunt. And here we have lauda bor, lauda beris, lauda bitor, lauda bimor, lauda bimini, lauda buntur. And again, for the most part, it's straight exchange of endings. Just for the first person singular, just like the present. You don't replace the O with the R. You add the R afterwards. And the one place where something's a little different, second person singular. Notice active, it's bis with an I. It's beris, the I changes to an E. The I in bis is a short I, and for whatever reason in ancient Rome, they did not like pronouncing short I in front of the ending ris. So they changed it to an E. We're going to run into this again in a couple other places. Banana monkey, you think they're going to be able to conjugate passive verbs now? Well, we'll see. Wale te, just keep your like way. Until next time.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time.